All right, we're putting a new battery in our 2011 HSC 5 liters. This is the US version. This has like been so unbelievably crazy. I can't believe how hard Land Rover made it to put a new battery in. I'm guessing the reason they did that is because this car is gonna freak out when we give it power back. I don't know. We're gonna see when we turn it on. Probably gonna have to take it to someone with an IID tool or something to reset something on the inside. I've read that you have to recalibrate the sunroof, believe it or not, after you put I know. So here, you want to come here? So you actually have to take the ECU out, and I'm gonna reassemble it, and you would deassemble it in exactly the opposite direction. There's a bracket, and I'll show you where this bracket goes. And there is a T30 security bolt. As you can see, it's got a screw extractor in it because I actually have a T30 security Torx bit, which didn't work. I don't know if it's some kind of special thing. I don't know why you would put a security bolt on that. Probably the only reason this bracket seems to exist is to prevent people from actually changing their own batteries. That would be my guess, so that they could make more money off service. Anyways, we're going to show you how this goes back in here. I did have a regular battery, and I replaced it with an AGM battery, which is going to be really heavy and really hard to get in here. You'll notice the bonnet is these really nice gas struts, which absolutely do not work after it gets below 25 degrees. So if you live in a cold climate, just you can see this is the high-tech stick that I use to hold up the bonnet here, the hood, so that I could actually disconnect them all by myself. No, this is another really awesome Land Rover design that these, but it is kind of nice to be able to fold it all the way up in here. If you want to go over there and give them a shot. There's a couple of brackets on each side that look like this that you flip up and click in here so that your hood won't fall while you're flailing around under the hood. And we're just gonna replace, so that security bolt that I actually drilled a hole in and used a screw extractor to get out, we're just gonna replace that with like an M610 bolt. That's, oh no, I just dropped. It went all the way through. Just a regular Allen bolt, so that, you know, like a normal human, you could do it. You could put a flange bolt in there or whatever. Just, I'm sure that's all this is. So we'll have to get that back, and if we decide to put the bracket back on, I haven't decided whether to put the bracket on or not. So let's get the battery in. It's super heavy. It's gonna be really crazy trying to get this battery in here because it's up in the air, and it weighs like 500 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a heavy battery. So I'm going to have to kind of get up here. You might have to go over there a little bit. I'm going to kneel up on here. It's really a tight fit up in here. But once it's in, it's really... I lost my flip-flop. No. It's really not too bad. Okay. So we got the battery back in its spot. There's a couple of these clamps which hold the battery down. I'm gonna get the ECU back in first though. You're probably gonna want to come up here. Let's give him a shot. Oh, let me grab my light. Where's my light? So there's a bracket on the back of the ECU, and this is how this works. So you can see these two little these little flappies guys right here on things. If you look right back down in there, you can see where they go. There's two little metal that slide in there. So when this is gonna slide back down in here, there's a 10mm bolt that is also, you can see it, you see the 10mm bolt down there, right? That goes, so right here, it's right down in here. That's the only thing that really holds it on, except for the mysterious bracket, which isn't really necessary to prevent other people from doing it. So let's get the ECU back in there. Here, I need to get up on the ladder. So the ECU just, like I said, slides on those tabs. I had the 10mm sitting on there so I didn't lose it and drop it like the other stuff. Hope we can find that. I'm thinking maybe it might be easier, I don't know, maybe not. I'm gonna slide this guy back in and get him into position. Okay, I think he's in pretty good spot. He seems like he's, did I get him on there? There we go. So the ECU is slid back on. And let's see if we can get a shot of the 10mm bolt. It's really tough. You're gonna have to get the camera right up here. And you gotta kind of pry the ECU back, and that's where that 10mm bolt goes. So I'm gonna put that guy on next, and then, so to do that, hold on, I need my 10mm with a couple of really skinny extensions. And hopefully, not even sure I can get my hand in there. We might have to put some grease or something on them to maybe hold it on to a socket or something while I thread it on. Maybe about everything is disconnected, I can get in there. No way. So I'm gonna I need to get a little grease. Here, stop. We'll slice it together. Okay, so we just put a little grease on that 10mm flange nut, and so it will stick in here. So hopefully it won't fall out, so we can get that guy back on, because this is really the only thing that holds the ECU onto the chassis, frame, engine bay, whatever. And this is just a plastic connector, so I'm just gonna snug him up. And that's plenty tight. Okay. I'm sure you could do that same thing with the socket. I just happen to have the small impact wrench in it. It works well. So now that we have that guy back on, this is the fan for the ECU. Don't forget to disconnect that. Kind of a pain, but just don't forget, because if you try to yank it out of there, I happen to notice it. And I think if you didn't notice it, you could actually pull that connector right off. So I'm thinking that this guy, I think, goes over here. I don't think you could probably mess this up. And then there's these little red handles, so that holds that guy securely in there. And then this guy is a little more of a pain. And we're gonna bend that out. I probably should have hooked these up before we bolted the ECU down. It's kind of a question of which pain do you want to feel first. And actually, I think I'm gonna back the ECU off. I'm gonna back that bolt that I just put on back. So I've never done this before, so this is kind of a learning experience along the way for me. Hopefully I won't have to do it too often because it's really crazy. But I do tend to make things a lot harder than they really need to be. There was enough grease on there so it's still stuck. I just don't want to break this bracket, because I'm guessing that buying a new ECU bracket is probably not really that much fun. Seems good. Now the challenge is trying to get it back on in this way. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Now, this guy's still gonna stick in there. That definitely worked a little bit better. Gonna hook the fan guy back up. He's just got a little connection right up here on the top where you have to press to get him off. I'm guessing that's important somehow. Are we ready for battery connections? I think we are. Actually, I'm gonna do these guys first. These guys are also a 10 millimeter. There is a Phillips on top, but it's a 10 millimeter. I'm guessing that's going to be a little bit easier. Definitely did not make any part of changing this battery easy in any way. And I need that 10 millimeter guy extension. Okay. It's hanging on pretty good. So there's another clamp that goes down here. It's just really hard to see. Okay, where's that hole? Okay, got him. Oh, I must have missed some. Oh no. Now we're in trouble. There's a washer on the back of the screw, and I noticed that there was someone who had maybe done this. I don't know if this had been done before or not. That washer holds that little clamp down there on if you're missing this guy. Battery is securely fastened to the vehicle. I think we're ready for battery connections. And then we have one more other thing I had to remove right over here. The hood switch. I had to take the hood switch off, which is these stupid Torx T30s. Once again, I don't know why. I don't know, whatever. These guys were pretty easy. Once again, just don't drop them. And these are all just plastic. I don't know what exactly this is. Some kind of hood switch. Tells it if you're driving down the road with the hood off. Okay, we got all those connectors back on. It's time for our magic. Battery connections, I believe. Pull this guy off. Ouch, my fingers are cold. Can't see. I'm just taking there's a cover on the top of the battery terminal. It's kind of welded on there. Nope, there it goes.
Whoa. Jeez.
Knocking stuff over. All right. Jesus, Dad. Okay. So I'm just gonna hook up the positive side here with the Anaconda wire. Oh, we might have to move the, once again, first time. We're gonna have to loosen those guys up. Let's slide it over just a little bit, I think. It's about 20 degrees here in Minnesota today, balmy 20 degrees. So we're
Negative 20.
not that cold. It's not that cold. Okay, I'm just gonna loosen these guys up enough. I think we gotta adjust the position of the battery just a little bit, because this guy needs to slide in here. And more stuff falling down. Yeah, it's the top of this ladder. I need to loosen them a little more. This battery might be a little bit bigger than the other one too. There we go. Everything needs to fit pretty good. And this guy was definitely really tight coming on. Oh, I don't have my hammer up here. Yeah, dude. This guy was really tough. Nothing like a little hammer. Nothing like a little dead blow hammer to get things going. So then, this is the ground terminal. And I believe this side was a 10 millimeter. And we're gonna get these guys again. Okay. And I think the other one was a 13 millimeter. They're on there. Good. All right, this bracket right here goes on like Once again, I don't really even know the purpose of this bracket. It doesn't really even... There's one connection right here where a wire tie goes through right here to hold this thing down. And it's, I don't know. I'm not putting it back on right now. If I feel like doing it, I'm going to put it on my bench and then wonder about it. I don't think it's really necessary. And it's 20 degrees outside, so I want to get done. Okay. I think we're all good. We got everything secured back down. Let's see what... Oh, we need the key. Why don't you cut and we'll splice in another video. So the reason we replaced the battery in the first place, we were watching Gotham, is because we had a voltage of like 12.1 on it, and the battery sensor was coming on, and with the vehicle running, we got like 3.8 or 13.75, 78, something like that. So the battery was, the alternators, to me, it seems like it's charging. It just seemed like the battery was bad. So let's turn the vehicle on and we'll test it again. Hopefully the vehicle will start up. Come on over to the driver's side and we'll see what happens. Come on over here. I want to see if like any warnings come up on it or something. What comes up on this? Over here on the screen when we turn it on. Up here.
First of all, shot handover, which I think, if you just experience dossier, which I already do, was good for the Kremlin that there was Trump in Moscow, and the opportunities to interact.
Sure, so it's going through some kind of check spare tires, ignition on. I don't know what it's doing, but it's.
I think it's gonna
ignition
explode.
is on, left door. I don't know if it's freaky because of the bonnet or something, but it definitely, the battery test thing is definitely gone. So let's test the voltage now that we're running. Oh, look at it, we're -2. All of our units have changed back to the default, and we're at 1/1/2009. We've gone back in time.
We're back in time.
We're back in time.
Now we can title the video Back in Time.
Back in time.
I'm gonna stand back a little bit.
It's just, we're just gonna get voltage out, see what we got now. Yeah, so we got 14.65, so we're doing a little charging. So we'll keep an eye on it this week. Hopefully, I don't think it's the alternator. I think it was actually the battery. But the battery wasn't that old, so hopefully we don't have to do it all that often. So, okay. That's how you change a battery on 2011 HSE. There maybe how not to change a battery. Now that you've seen somebody do it, maybe you can do a better job. Okay.
Bye-bye.